A U.S. appeals court is holding oral arguments on Monday to hear challenges to a law that would ban TikTok. That is, if in the U.S., if China-based parent company does not divest ownership by January 19th. The legal proceedings could determine whether the app would remain available for download here in the States. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan has the details for us. Hey, Alexis.
Hi, yeah. So what this is on Monday is the lawyers for the Justice Department, for ByteDance/TikTok, they're going to get the chance to go before a judge, as is a party of users who have a stake in the game here. They're going to get to give their arguments to the judge so that the judge can weigh the arguments in the case. Now, if you go back, you remember back in April, Congress passed that law that said either TikTok, you divest to a U.S. owner, or it's banned in this country. Now, TikTok is saying that that law is unconstitutional. They say it's a violation of the company's right to free speech under the First Amendment, and they say it's a violation of their users' right to free speech under the First Amendment. They've also said that the parent company ByteDance will not allow for its algorithm to be divested to a U.S. company. That's really the bread and butter of the way that the app works. So the court is really going to have to weigh national security interests. That's the reason for this law. The DOJ, Congress has said it doesn't want China to have a hold over Americans' data that then could be used against them in some form. That's all Americans, including the U.S. military. So the court is going to look at national security against the Constitution. Well, TikTok's going to have one problem, and that is you can't assert constitutional rights on behalf of someone else. That has to be the actual party. They can't come in and say, well, they can come in and say it, that users' free speech is being violated, but it's not, they don't have a stake in that race, right? It has to come from users. On the other hand, foreign companies do get some constitutional protections, but it's a huge question as to how far the court will go, any court in the U.S., because there are U.S. companies that have been afforded a lot of protections under the Constitution, but a foreign company is a whole nother ball of wax. So a lot of novel issues here. The DOJ, for its part, has said, well, this is not really a ban. This is just a requirement to change owners and that users would still have the right to use the platform as they did in the past once it's under U.S. ownership. There's a lot of talk that this could go all the way to the Supreme Court.
Could this be swayed at all by the presidential election?
Yeah, absolutely. That was something I wanted to mention, without getting too long-winded, is another administration could choose to start negotiating with the company and have something different as a result than a January 19th ban if the company doesn't decide to play ball.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Alexis.
It could all change.
It could all change. And it could be a boost for the social companies if TikTok has to change in any form, right? So U.S. companies, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Twitter, X.